Now that we know what polar coordinates are, let's look at converting between polar coordinates and rectangular coordinates, our standard coordinate system. And in order to do this, we have to think about the relationship between them. X squared plus y squared is equal to our value of r squared. By thinking about x and y in terms of a triangle, a right triangle, this side right here would be r. This is our angle theta, so we have that sine of theta is equal to y over r, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine theta is adjacent over hypotenuse, or x over r. And tangent of theta is opposite over adjacent, or y over x. And we will use these four equations to convert from polar to rectangular, as well as from rectangular to polar. A lot of times we rewrite these two equations though. Multiplying both sides by r gives me that r sine of theta is equal to y, and r cosine theta is equal to x. And this is the more common form of these two parts of this set of equations. So let's look at converting from polar coordinates to rectangular coordinates. In this case, I have that r is 2 and theta is 3 pi over 2. My formula in the two equations that I rewrote said that r times cosine theta is equal to x, and r times sine theta is equal to y. This tells me I have 2 times cosine of 3 pi over 2 for x, and 2 times sine of 3 pi over 2 for y. Cosine of 3 pi over 2 is -1, so this would be a -2. Sine of 3 pi over 2 is 0, so this would be 0. In rectangular coordinates, this is -2, 0. What about -8 comma pi over 3? Once again, x is equal to r cosine theta, y is equal to r sine theta. In this case, -8 is r, theta is pi over 3. So we have -8 times cosine of pi over 3 for x, and -8 times sine of pi over 3 for y. Cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2. So we have that x is equal to -4. Sine of pi over 3 is square root of 3 over 2, which tells me here we have -4 square root of 3. So the coordinates for this would be -4 comma -4 square root of 3. Let's look at converting this point -1 comma square root of 3 to polar coordinates. So this is x and y. We have that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. This tells me -1 squared plus square root of 3 squared is equal to r squared. In other words, 1 plus 3 is equal to r squared, or 4 is equal to r squared. Finally, we have that 2 is equal to r. And now we just need to find theta. We then use the fact that tangent of theta is equal to y over x. To get that tangent of theta needs to be equal to negative square root of 3. We can see that since x is negative and y is positive, this is going to lie in quadrant 2. So we need a value in quadrant 2 that has tangent of theta equal to negative square root of 3. And this happens at 2 pi over 3. So my point here is 2 comma 2 pi over 3. Next, let's look at the point negative 2, 0. We know that x squared plus y squared needs to be equal to r squared. This gives me negative 2 squared plus 0 squared is equal to r squared. Or 4 is equal to r squared, which tells me 2 is equal to r. Tangent of theta should be equal to y over x, so 0 over negative 2, or 0. I can use a calculator. If I think about what's going on with this point in my rectangular coordinate system, it's right here. So we can see that we've gone 2 out, and my angle of rotation is pi. So in this case, theta is equal to pi. So we have our point of 2 comma pi.